Highest honor to the prophet. It's so real. I like this. I love how this sounds. Yo, we needed a prophet and one was sent. So for all our sinful ways, we can repent, make things better for the children out us. I know good citizens that got their hands cuffed by color of authority and color of law. We're not improper person, you're outside of law or outlaw. They might call you ruthless cause you're acting like Harper and don't know what the truth is. Making claims you do, but caught in emotions, being parts of movements that lacks motion. Activity is nil, null, and void. Haven't mastered Earth, but your cosmic and right asteroids. Waiting for the mothership, that's macabre. Thinking that the mother isn't also the father. Thinking that our son is the only one. Thinking young men are killed with only guns. We got it so twisted with pretzel thoughts. Talk big by yourself, but when you're in courts, pulled over by piggies, giving them jurisdiction. To kill a racist cracker talk is the purest fiction. All y'all do is talk it and don't walk it. Then claim it's racism and they made you forfeit. Throwing in the towel, moving your powers in skinny jeans when you hear or see the sirens. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Talk is cheaper, action's cheaper. Thought you had the Molotov and street sweepers to kill pigs dead, I'm sure that's what you said. Cause from Panthers and Malcolm X is what you read. It got you nowhere and got them dead. Arguing rights in a black status shot in the head by your own people who took a check instead of nationalizing, deciding to work for the feds. Children hungry, but they're not talking that bread. When making excuses, why from A to Z? They say they never sold out, even though they hold out. Prophet said, see them in the back, don't get the old out. New Moors were on the way, but now we're here. Moors conscious, dress their best, not like rapping queers. Selling their soul, they go to market their bodies on the auction block, red carpet. I'm speaking what's true, but hearing I'm rude, not true. Y'all are squares like a Rubik's Cube. Always asking who's this dude. I don't catch feelings. Why push pillars if you can't catch ceilings? Too much backdoor and under table dealing. Keep that up and I'll keep trader revealing. I keep eating rappers, MCs mealing. Fire I spit, got reptilian skin peeling. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. Astro boy, the cosmic, this may be esoteric, but who knows it will feel it. Who the cap fit won't wear it, and the fest fit speak it. If you have questions, ask for more. Stories make your mind explore. You're more than a black man. The caucus plan, destroy a nation. Consent to being black, so the power is fiction. The effects of the Inquisition. My brown hand holds my ink in position. Sell out, exterminate you quick from my existence. If you think you can't corner our resistance, instant without thinking, I make it unbearable. Think the unthinkable. Try to battle God who honors 5 principles. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This I seek through my exodus. If I told you I was white, you'd probably say, who the f is this? Dictionary's not wrong, it's just your perspective. If the fountain says color, why you drink it? You just signed an agreement. Salute. Salute. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. What's wrong with colored people? They're actually fake. The words I speak to vampires are actually snakes. What's wrong with black people? They're actually brown, saying they run this town but acting like a clown. got rituals for damn near anything you want to do, and we can give them to you tonight. Chris V. Still get it from the intellect reservoir. Cosmic surfing, these two sons of God didn't come from virgins. Ether makes up these gods. We rode light angles to the earth plane. Again trapped in skin, but a different name. Monads, been here since Ruth and Moabs. Thought you killed me when Drew and Marcus got toe tag. That's why I'm here with the Grand Chairman of Fear. Truth make you think critical like severe. Doing the God things, I make ancients appear. And all I'm hearing is knocking while I'm watching a seer. Ancient rituals and sound healing notes through Pro Tools. Eye-to-eye transfers knowledge, you need no school. Waking up the masses, music is class and stage. Most fail cause they look like the flying shades. Following demons possess Kanye's and Lil Wayne's. Expecting a hippie with a cross and a Greek name. In a melanin cause me D&B, the link up with no cheese. Orishas in me, I'm not what you don't see. I'm not one of those armchair revolutionaries. Allah's in me, sick and tired of being sick and tired, but that's just where we get our strength, man. The Christ is in me. I'm not a hustler, pimp, gangster, gangster, but trust me, they are in me. I got it when the moon shifted the tomb in the melanated womb, sipping milk in the honeydew and triple black boom. Touchdown, traveling on planet Earth where we crush clowns. While I'm managing this curse and preparing the elixir that turns copycats into kitty litter. These poor pussies pretending to be misters. I cannot sin, but I can be very sinister. My limitations are limited as I do a lap around the galaxy. Had to gather light and rally back and fuck the fallacy. And cause of that, I got labeled the antagonist. And it didn't help that I cuss and bun cannabis and fun candles and wear symbols of Orishas. And I put a hex on the heads of 7 preachers with one trailer spit aimed at the pulpit. Crush the crucifix, a whole tabernacle backflip. I'm not Catholic, but if I choose my bare resonance, you may just catch a glimpse of Lucifer's semblance. Up and down Jacob's ladder with my melanin, the vessel of the fear none. You can find the devil in. God's in me, I say that so serious. Turn a nigga to a god, show you I'm serious. Got him proclaiming and changing and facing with no guilt or fear. All these clansmen masons, we stand on squares, circumscribe our own circumference. Goddess Lakshmi bless me with abundance of prosperity. I speak with clarity, not to confuse. Put Moorish in front everything from Christian to Jews. I'm the anchor, so I don't listen to news on some snail type vibrations, making me snooze. Calling a parker to call down our UFO crews. Like Yahweh or Dogan shamans, we call on Ra Amen. For sun ritual, spiritual, I'm physically trapped. Rewind playback and get your pioneer tap like Gregory Hines when I'm spitting the rhymes. A&Rs want me to blow, but all rights reserved when we sign. In a melanin cause me D&B, the link up with no cheese. Orishas in me, I'm not what you don't see. I'm not one of those armchair revolutionaries. Allah's in me, sick and tired of being sick and tired, but that's just where we get our strength, man. The Christ is in me. I'm not a hustler, pimp, gangster, gangster, but trust me, they are in me. Alright, so let's polarization. Omakulu, Olentu, Shumala, Okija, Chieka, Jehovah, Alcala, Locayo, Kakomo, Lalila. I need some halal shades. Isha, Hamu, Noku, Mana, Imatu, Chichi, Juba, Elba, Negati, Simbo, Lisala, Isala, Abilu, Hazuka, Numerous, Aloli, Ayo, Everett, Raipa,
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents
comment, send quickly. Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Big pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Place, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in the lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And over I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. The stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Before people send. Canaanland Moors presents Comic Sense Quick. Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Place, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in the lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And over I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. The stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death given slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing. Morris Lamar, key man oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty more or a Drew Ali Craig. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I am exiled. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. Yeah, I'm feminist, stomped on by elephants. More like more prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book called Maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veil shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Bet you don't. I bet you don't want to. I bet you don't want to give it a try. You just try, see what happens to you. You see what happened to Ahmed Ra Squad? You see what happened to Seti and Pharaoh or whatever? Give them a try, see what happens. Give them a try.
You get that Nate Robinson treatment.
When I see him slide on the face, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is on the face. How are you sliding on the face? Sliding on the face for 600 grand,
Yeah.
This stuff must be over. This stuff must be over. Morris, start taking the stuff back.
Yo, yeah.
It's time to take the stuff back.
Yep.
All we gotta do is just say we're Morris. That's all. It's over.
That's it.
This thing is over. Okay? Whether it's some conspiracy theory, whether it's some what do you call it? Nazi sequence is why freaking that happened. Whatever BS people want to talk about, just know that it's over. It's completely over.
Yep.
Right? You can't tell me that you can't say that the stuff's not over. This guy got knocked out. Hey, wasn't this? Hey, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Now, how crazy is this? That this guy gets knocked out by a guy. And then after he gets knocked out now, the guy who is the man with every belt or whatever is back in the knockout guy.
Yo,
How come he didn't
isn't
train?
that crazy?
How come he didn't train him? Do you know what this means? Do you know why they had oh, you saw no, when I said the stuff is over, I'm talking about all that Negro black stuff. Because you know that was the race war that just happened right there. That was just the race war. And you lost. It's over. European beat your ass. Just because you want to play black colored games. You want to be Negro black colored? Oh, you want to give him a try? That's what happens. That's what happens when you give him a try. You try and see what happens. Don't play around. Do not play around. Oh, here we go. Jay White, you're the first one up. Jay White, what's your beef with Mars? Come on. I'm waiting for y'all.
Here we go.
And don't forget.
What'd you say, Chris?
Don't forget the quote of the day. The quote of the day when you come out Canaanland Mars, push the button. Push the button.
Please.
Don't talk BS behind your fingers. Just push the button. That's all you got to do. It's been a while since we had a live. We were just shut down for a week because we had a COVID video up. So we had a COVID video up, so they shut it down basically. And then if anybody got to see the women's martial arts video that we put up today, that got taken down because it violated some kids thing.
Crazy.
So you tell me if this stuff isn't over. You better get on that nationality and birthrights and that individual, Noble Drew Ali. Because the denial is going to get you like Nate Robinson.
Every time. Every time. Every time.
That's why we say, don't talk behind your fingers. If you have something, just push the button. Don't talk crazy. Don't talk crazy. Or don't type crazy. Talk crazy. Talk crazy. Like we said, on numerous occasions, for years, honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He's the man. Forget all these people who are claiming to be your whatever, they brought you whatever. Forget all of them, especially if they're not talking about Noble Drew Ali. Especially if they're not talking about him. Because like we said, everything's over. All you have to do is push the button so you could show people how over it is. But no, they would never push the button. Just talk crazy in the chat. Noble Drew Ali is the man. Right? It's that simple. Because no one is going to try to convince me that Noble Drew Ali isn't the man. Because I tried what everybody brought, and everybody stuff is BS except Drew Ali. I went and checked myself. And what I realized is it's all BS if it's not putting you in the direction that Noble Drew Ali put you in. And we wanna make it really, oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. Noble Drew Ali is the man, Moorish American national, not the man like we're, he's some guy and we're riding his coattails. No, he's the Moorish American national. He's the one. He's the one. So Moorish American national, man. So he came, brought us everything it takes to save a nation, told us to take it and save ourselves. In taking it and save myself, I was brought to, again, the lesson of Noble Drew Ali, that there's only going to be a handful saved with fingers left over. So that's a manifested prophecy. Because there's a handful of Moors who really know what this is about for real. Handful. There's many Moors, many Moorish Americans, many Moorish American nationals, many people of the Moorish nation. But there's still a handful that really got, and will get what this is really about. And we're not even catering to them because they know already. It's like we said, stick our head behind the veil, let you know some stuff that's going on you might not have considered, and we're going back to doing whatever we do. Saving ourselves. We got the oral statements up because there were things documented that is said, Noble Drew Ali said. And one or two things happen, yeah, you can say, yeah, okay. But when over 100 things happen, or you're living in the time when he didn't even say what you're going through yet, the time didn't come that you're going through what he said yet, but he said that that's gonna happen, and it happened. So there's something there, because we know the people who said Noble Drew Ali said these things, if they were really whatever, they would have been saying they're the prophet and I said whatever. So I want to go through some of these and see if we can get some lessons from them, or if he's just talking BS because he's some guy that came with a fez on, selling oils and silks and whatever like that. And he was going to, in the daytime, going to the tent to go do backflips through the hoop and all that stuff. And in the nighttime, he's this guy doing some mystical crystal ball stuff and all that. Or is there really something there to really how people talk about it? Or is he really leading you somewhere? Let me see if Brother Yusuf, you got anything to add before we?
Yeah, just a moment ago, you was talking about the handful saved, and what's crazy, I was just building with my sister about that whole thing because, remember I was telling you how we was doing class, and me and you were doing class. We were building with some other Moors the other day on the Zoom conference, and I had the 2 pages of notes, and then I was like, but I've been studying forever, and I'm still taking notes, and then I was telling her, I was like, that just bugs me out, and I said that's the same reason why the prophet said, "With fingers left over," because like I'm thinking, I'm good, like okay, I know a little bit of something, like no, you know nothing. With fingers left over. I was just like, yeah, we was just talking about that. We was just talking about that. Like, back to the drawing board. As soon as you think you know it all, go erase the drawing board and start from the beginning again. Because you missed something. You missed a lot of something.
Those are the worst ones too. And you know you missed it. The worst ones. So, the Holy Prophet Drawley told the Moors, I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. When he said that, the Prophet was holding up a Quran of the Moor Science Temple of America and a questionnaire to show us the books we need to save ourselves with. Now, not just merely show you the books, but present to you the lessons from time immemorial of how people save themselves. They turn within and honor their foremothers and forefathers and be a nation. They don't believe clubs and groups and organizations and all these other things that are created, taking the place of as if it can be a nation. And that's what he brought back to these people in North America in the 20s, that all of them were on it back then. Why do you think he could talk so cocky? I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. You think it wasn't already locked down if he's talking like that? Remember, this is 20s. Then always remember, Django on the horse. There's only going to be a handful saved. He was one. Look how many slaves were around him. And none of them said, hey, yo, how you get on a horse and all that stuff? Like, what do you know that we don't know? What they do? Let them free, and they just sat there in the open jail, just sat there. Everybody's dead around them and just sitting there.
And people don't want remedy. They want to complain. That's what all that reminds me of.
Yep.
Same thing that's going on today. These people don't want remedy. They like to complain. They like to go on there and say, I'm quoting them, when they say the white man this, the white man that. No, the Moors came, shot all that down, killed all that crap, and y'all stayed right there on the plantation. So don't start making all that noise. Just sit right there, right on that plantation, and wait till your next master comes.
Yeah.
Moors came right in there, destroyed all of that white man crap, destroyed it, and they sitting there trying to defend it. They're doing the Samuel L. Jackson. they're defending the white man crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not honoring the Moor for what he's doing to come save his people.
Right.
They're dissing the Moor. Dissing the Moor because on the low they really want their masters to stay in to be the heads. They don't want us as the people to be the heads. They like their masters being the heads.
Now, we're telling you, push the button. Don't talk BS in the chat. Push the button. But for your sake, we're going to accommodate you're not pushing the button. So the first thing is a maxim never existed. Okay, prove that. Prove that it never existed. We'll leave you with that one. Push the button. Prove that. Don't tell me anything about. Prove that a maxim never existed, since that's your claim. That's the first part. Second one, you save yourself by working hard, getting your resources up, and buying land in Africa and building up your former homelands. Simple. Get a passport and leave USA. Now, first of all,
statement was colored.
Your whole stuff is colored. So, let's just put your stuff on the screen so we could deal with this properly. Right? And anybody who's talking crazy, don't talk crazy in the chat. Push the button. It's that simple. Right? Remember, this is going back to everything Juali said. It takes to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. Right? Where Noble Juali tell the Moors that they should be listening to any of you people? Where is that at? You know, and again, remember, this is not us talking. This is our prophet talking to these people in the 20s, and it still applies today. What does that tell you? Right? Exactly what people are trying to do. Right? Check this now. He's saying, you save yourself by working hard. Okay, I go with that. Getting your resources up. I go with that. And buying land in Africa. I don't know about all that. And building up your former homelands. I don't know about that. Now, Noble Juali told the Moors, children, you are home. And the European is 5,000 miles from home. And he is going to have to take some water. What does you are home mean?
Nobody took you from some place called Africa.
All right. So if we are home, this is why Noble Juali said in the Morris Science Temple of America article, it is most earnestly hoped that the Morris Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. We
don't
ride
want to hear that.
with That's who we ride with. We don't ride with any of your nigger leaders and all that stuff going back to the continent and that's home and all that stuff. We know that we have a connection to there. We know that. Our ancient foremothers and forefathers were from there. But they weren't from there when it was separated by Atlantic Ocean. They were from there when all of it was one landmass.
It's still all one landmass.
Or they were there. We were here, but it's all the same place. There's no over there and over here. You're in the same place. The Atlantic Ocean has you fooled. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Why? Because we're home. Because we're home. Now, they're not going to go and challenge the Europeans' position for taking over their everything here. Never. They're never going to go to the European. That's their God. But they're going to come on Moore's chat, talking crazy.
Yep.
As if. But we're not the temple Moors that you guys are used to, that we know are the traitors who sat on this info and didn't tell anybody about it. We're not them.
Islam, Grand Sheik.
Islam Moor.
Yep. If I could add on real quick, because I didn't see none of these people calling to Fox News, CNN, and call any of these European colonists foreigners trying to run here in America. Like, never. Only person I've seen call in to CNN and do that was a Moor. Yep. I've never seen any of these so-called black native, whatever, yep. Indian, never. Only person to call in was a Moor. But they, like you said, they love to call in to the Moors platform and complain. Never have I seen them.
Same stuff you were talking about earlier, the complainers.
Yep. That's, yeah. Same ones. They don't want remedy. They want to complain.
Yep. Complain about whether a Maxim is real or a Maxim is not. That's not what's up for debate. What's up for debate is what's your nationality. And if you can't tell me your nationality and show me identification to prove it, you're a fraud. Because we know 98% of it doesn't matter what we call ourselves, people are going to pull out a state license that they got from the same European who they're claiming all their black power stuff is against. Children, you are home. Children, you are home. Now, where's Jamaica? Jamaica's not Africa. I'm not Jamaican, but since you brought up Jamaica, Jamaica isn't Africa. Jamaica's America. And I don't see no Africa town and stuff like that in Jamaica. I see Moore Town there. I see Port Moore there. I don't see no African stuff. Unless it's some incompetent Negro, black, colored, whoever. Now, you're not going to go debate Charles Edwards for proclaiming his nationality and saying Emmanuel, and then telling all these Rastafarians that they better read the UN declarations, Article 15. You know Rastafarians, they never go there. You know Rastafarians going to tell you that the Fez Haile Selassie wore on his coronation is a Fez. They're not going to tell you that. They won't tell you that's a golden Fez. Rastafarians are going to tell you that Haile Selassie is known to the Rastafarians as the Black Ark Sovereign. He's known as a sovereign to them. Ask them if they know what sovereignty means. And I have my Rastafarian booklets or whatever I will pull out to show you that, yeah, we're from that foundation. But, you know, everything was dealing with nationality. Why is he an emperor if he's not part of an empire? He's just emperor, and you're telling me Ethiopia is the empire? Ethiopia is not no empire. Since when? Right. The dumb stuff that you people keep doing is thinking over there and over here are different when they're the same. Over here is over there is over here. It's the same place. But people who are separated in their mindset because they're not grounded, they don't have a knowledge base. Their knowledge base is a fraud. Their knowledge base came from all these other fake scholars that put out information calling people black and Negro and colored and all that, as if that's the identity of some people. Right? Drawley laid this whole thing down. And he put you in a place where this stuff could be figured out. It's not rocket science. Like I swear, it's not rocket science. Right? This more went all out with making sure that we're on the right path by giving us certain reference points. By giving us certain reference points. Children, you are home. If he's talking to Negro, black, colored people, and he's telling them, hey, you're home. Telling them, you're home.
Right.
What more you need than that? Then you're home. Go ahead, Marv, if you had something.
No, I was just looking at it too, because Brother Peyton Bay, Temple 25, was out of the so-called Detroit, Michigan. So when the prophet said, "You are home," that he was here. The guy Peyton Bay, he was here, definitely here, just in case they second guessing if he was over there or somewhere else where he said it at. The guy Peyton Bay was out of so-called Detroit, Michigan, right here. And I just noticed it too, that you had read this earlier to what the guy was saying about going back to Africa and buying land. I'm like, yo, yeah, Grand Sheik read it just in time. That's crazy.
Yo, just in time, yo. That was the prophet, yo, proving his point. I'm not even holding those ones. You gotta do it. The prophet, those ones.
Yeah, I be trying to tell my boy, I be like, yo, it's divinely prepared. You don't understand. Because he could have came on 20 minutes from now, and missed this whole beginning part. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Right when he came with it, the thing's right there. Which even lets you know they're not even looking at what's going on around them. They're so lost. First thing they come on is come in and jump in the chat as if the chat's where something's happening at.
Yeah.
He should have read something on the screen and said, hey, you know what? Number one, I don't agree with that or something. You're coming up with some BS. Noble Drawley just checkmate me. Right?
He just fell for the trap. He just fell for it. He just fell for the trap.
Just put his foot right in the thing, right? And what did you say? The trap, right?
Right in the trap.
Look around, and where you see people, one day wild animals will be roaming.
He put his foot right in that bear trap. Yeah, he did. Right in it. Yo, and speaking of that, that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Where if you go to my channel, if you had time, you know, Morris can go on there and you can see. I saw a news segment. It was pink flamingos walking around in the city, and monkeys and everything just taking over, while everybody's in the house, COVID or you know, in quarantining.
Whatever. Yep. Whatever it is. Lockdown
Monkeys
in the house, the monkeys coming out.
outside, no mask on, going crazy. Going crazy. Looking at you like, what's wrong? What's wrong with them? Why they all got them things on?
Yeah. Drew Ali again.
Oh yeah, Grand Sheik, and
Yeah.
you touched on it a little bit earlier when you were saying about the people who wrote these, because you know it's the oral statements from the prophet, but the people who are saying them, like, because people are trying to say like, well, Noble Drew Ali didn't say these things, you know, like they can just argue the fact, like, because it's a bunch of he say, she say.
Yeah.
But when you read them, it's like, well, it's happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that's the other thing too. Like, because it's like, well, anybody could have said that, but I'm like, yeah, but I could see if this stuff didn't happen.
Yo,
Like
that's the thing. If it didn't happen, I could fully ride with it. That okay, fine. We can't take it too serious. You know what I mean? Or maybe we overextended on saying prophet when he's really a messenger or something, and somebody stole that. But no, prophecies have manifested. You know, prophecies have manifested. And again, what are we getting out of it? You know, when the fire comes, I will be your water. When the fire comes, I would be your water. We already know. Everything is spirit, so we better heed. So if everything is spirit, that means fire has to have metaphysical meaning. So what's that? Fire symbolizes cleansing, purification, but it is more than a symbol. Material fire is the symbol, and the fire of spirit is the reality. The whole universe is alive with a divine, living, spiritual energy that consumes all dross of sense and materiality. It is a fire that burns eternally. Because this is true, some have assumed that disobedient, sinful persons are to live forever in everlasting torment. But if the fire is eternal, the dross is not. And when the error is consumed, the burning stops. The fire consumes only when it meets anything unlike itself. In purified man, it is manifested as his eternal life. Fire of God, the word of God in action, burns out the dross of negative consciousness and reveals the Christ. Fire of tongues, or tongues of fire, illumination of thought in demonstration of spirit's presence and power. So when the fire comes, I would be your water. So if fire symbolizes cleansing and purification, and then Drew Ali saying that he's water, then what? The metaphysical meaning of water. Water in its different aspects represents weakness and negativeness, cleansing, mental potentiality, and in some cases, life or vital energy. The waters of Genesis represent unexpressed possibilities in mind. There must be a firm starting point established. This point or firmament is faith, moving on the unformed capacities of spirit consciousness. In every mental proposition, we have an above and a below. Above the firmament are the unexpressed capacities, waters of the conscious mind, resting in faith in divine. Below the firmament are the unexpressed capacities, waters of the conscious mind. The seas of Genesis 1:10 represent the uninformed state of mind. We say that man is at sea when he is in doubt about a mental process. In other words, he has not established his thoughts in line with the principle involved. He is unstable. The sea is capable of production, but must come under the dominion of a formative power of mind and imagination. Water represents mental potentiality. It can also be understood as negation. The race thoughts have form of sea of thought, and to walk over it safely required that one have faith in oneself. Faith necessary to accomplish so great a work comes from understanding of God and man and the law of mastery given to man. Water, in one of its phases, represents negativeness. The individual who allows himself to become negative to the good finds himself uncertain and unstable in his mind, and often his body, sometimes so submerged in waters of negation that his physical condition is low, weak, sympathy with error, and the results of error helps to produce this condition. To be positive in good, it is very necessary that one have right ideas of God, and one who knows him as good. The mind and the body are often toned up to one's thinking of God as divine law. One's understanding him to be divine law frees the mind from sentimental ideas of God solely as love. One's understanding him to be divine law, it's not a him, it's divine law, frees the mind from sentimental ideas of God solely as love. Water is symbolical of weakness, lack of stability, unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel. The meaning is that we should meet the error through the weakest point in consciousness. The error thought to be met in this case was designated as Judas, one of the disciples who was possessed of a devil. Water also represents material cleansing, and fire represents spiritual cleansing. When John the Baptist baptized with water, he washed away the sins of the external character. He did not enter into the subconscious. It takes something more powerful than water to purify the error conditions accumulated by the soul in its many incarnations. That's why he says that he brought us everything that it takes. He's just the water, here to purify you so you can now take the step into what this is about, your nationality and your birthrights. That you're part of a nation. You need to go back anywhere. You need to connect your consciousness right here before you go anywhere. Because if you go somewhere else not knowing where your home is, you're still lost. Water also represents the great mass of thoughts that conform to environment. Every thought leaves its form in the consciousness, and all the weak, characterless words and expressions gather in the subconscious mind as water gathers in holes. When we get discouraged or disappointed and give up, to overthrow the life sweeps this flood of negative thought over us, and we are conscious of bodily weakness of some sort, then if we get scared, there is a trouble ahead. When we know the truth and brace up, however, the waters are confined to their natural channels again, and our strength is restored. Living water signifies the inspiration of spirit, also life. This man didn't know. They're just talking crazy in the chat. When you check and then you reference check what Juali said, you realize that he was right on point with everything that he said. And it's absolute disrespect to take some position like he wasn't right. One day, every wheel of industry is going to stop. And when they start up again, it will be in the Asiatics' favor. If the European be just, they would have an Asiatic vice president. Don't they got that right now? Right now, they're claiming Asiatic vice president from Hindustan. That's definitely Asiatic. You know, you can't even find a way to deny that that's Asiatic. And if they had an Asiatic president, they would have a European vice president. Been here, done that. Prophecy already manifested and left. And you're still playing games. You don't want to ride with what Noble Juali said. You ride with everybody else, what they said. Fact check nothing. But when it comes to Juali, nah. Nope. There's a lot more. You have anything to add?
Yeah, people talking crazy in the chat, Green Sheik. Talking crazy, man. Crazy.
That's how they do.
It's just you know, cause it hit me the other day. You was like, when we was building, you told me before we went on there, you was like, yo, these people are very new. You know, you was letting me know, like, yo, they're new. So, like, it didn't hit me, like, and then I just started listening to people talk, and then you can just see it, like,
oh, they're green still.
You know, right, and like people,
they're so green when you cut them. You know, and the white stuff comes out, that's not ready.
right,
green,
right.
Green.
That's what I'm seeing with the people in the chat. I'm like, I'm not even gonna, like, because everything's colored. Like they don't even know what words mean, what this is, and it's like, there's no point. None at all. Because they don't know what words mean. They don't know how to study. They just still won't go complaining to their master's chat. Still won't go over there and complain in their master's chat. I didn't see none of them marching in and picketing for foreigners to go home when Biden and Trump was going at it to run their stuff. They didn't do none of that.
No debating. Nothing.
None of that.
They just let them do whatever.
Since they all want to go back to Africa so bad, go march and picket for a boat so y'all can go back to Africa. Go ahead.
They might be able to get a plane.
I bet you they'll give them one.
But they won't. They just want to be on here debating Moors in our own land, telling us
they love to complain, Granshi.
You know what I mean?
They don't want remedy.
And again, this whole concept of building Africa as if Africa doesn't have stuff. Like, what do you mean building? What do you mean? They got paved streets and stuff over there. skyscrapers and all that. What do you mean build? What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean rebuild Africa? You tell me 50 Negroes from America go to Africa and they're gonna build something? Stop the BS. What are you talking about? When they could do that same thing here and make everybody else have to go home?
Rebuild Africa. Yeah, okay.
Not that that can't be done, because we know people who left over there and they're over there and they're over there building right now. They're over there building. We got connects over there. If you want to go over there and help build some stuff, we got people we can send you to over there that are over there right now building stuff right now. Me myself, I'm home here. I ain't going anywhere. Ain't nowhere to go.
I'm gonna clean up my mess here in my house before I go to somebody else's house to clean up their mess. That's how I'm looking at it. Cause this, like the prophet said, you are home. So let's clean up our home first before we try to go clean up somebody else's house. But again, like the Mother Roz said years ago, if you think your history started on a slave ship, that's where it's going to end. That's where it's going to end. I love it. She said that years ago.
That one hit hard. That one hit hard.
That's where it's going to end. That never left me. I was like, dang, man. Like, and that's what it is. That's all they know. 400 years.
Oh, you just reminded me. As you said, it never left you. The Chappelle.
Oh yeah.
The Dave Chappelle. Talk about that.
The whole interview. I hope people have seen it. The whole interview part with him breaking down.
Yeah, the part that we were talking about though.
Dang, what part was he going in on that?
With the 3 card.
Oh, just how that's the perspective of how the whole situation was going on now. Because he gave an example of what happened to him when he had got robbed. Because what he want, I don't know, like people had to have seen the video, I guess, because like what he wanted was he was right. Because what he was trying to do was show off for some so-called Dominican girl, and when he had 60 notes to his name, and he was at some casino, whatever. He was at some spot where somebody was doing some card trick, and he said he had noticed from afar that the dude has bent the card that was the red card that he can choose. So he was like, in his mind, he can go over there and choose the card and win. So he went over there and put his whole 60 notes on the table. Everything he had, he put on the table and betted it. And he lost. He flipped the card, pointed at the card. It was a black card, and he lost. So he said, he wanted to figure out what was going on. So he said he sat back and he watched. And then he said, all of a sudden, he realized what was going on, that everybody around, like the crowd that was around him, was in the card trick with the dude. So everybody was there. So he said one guy had came over and put his money on the table. And Dave Chappelle said he yelled like, yo, all of these people was in the trick together. And he said, yo, the dude who was doing the trick had grabbed him and was about to beat him or whatever. But he said he looked at him and said, yo, don't ever get in the way of a man with his meal and his money. Something like, of his meal, a man with his meal and his money. And I was looking at this like, yo, this is exactly what's going on now. People getting tricked. They're being the Dave Chappelle from afar, looking at all of these people who are selling packages, trickery, come get this package, come get this passport, come get this. And you looking over there like, oh, I can figure that because that's the bent card. It's the bent card. It looks easy. I can go over there. And they go right over there and put $3,000, $5,000, paying for these packages. and then they flip it and it's the black card. Now they mad. Now they mad because they don't flip the black card. Like, no, your whole problem was in the beginning. Why are you trying to show off for that so-called Dominican girl? Why is your mind like that? Your mind is wrong. You're playing yourself. The whole perspective is I was just looking at it like, yo, this is where this is wrong at. Don't try to. And I'm looking at the dude who's playing, who grabbed Dave Chappelle and was about to beat him, and told him, don't ever get in the way of a man with his money or whatever in the meal. That's the Polites and all of them. Remember the Polite thing? In the crowd?
Yeah.
Brother Polite had the people in the crowd. They was hooping and hollering and cheering, and they was all together. That's the same thing. They bring that same hustle into the so-called conscious community, and they get y'all in the guise of we're trying to help our people. No, that's the bent card trick. That's all they doing. And everybody's going, and people going over there, putting all they so-called money on the table. And then when they get played, they call Grand Sheik and talk about, oh, I got played for my 3,000, my 5,000. You should have been, instead of, look where your mind was.
Yeah.
Trying to get a benefit. Like, oh, if I get this paperwork, I'm going to be all set. I just go over here, show this. They can't get me in this position. Now I'm good. Your mind, you trying to show off for the Dominican girl. Yep. Now you're hit. Now you're hit because that's not what this is about. Now you're over there suckered from the bent card trick. I was just looking at it like, yo, that's everything that's going on now with Moors and people trying to come into the science. They falling for the bent card trick. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Falling for game.
And then mad at Moors. Because I was also saying how, in the perspective of when Dave Chappelle was sitting there and he was like, yo, don't give them your money. Like, they all in there on this joke. That's what Moors is doing. And people are mad. Yep. But they can't literally grab us by the neck and say, yo, don't ever get in the way of a man with his meal and his money. Because that's what it's about. Moors are that meal and that we're in the way with them getting their meals and their money.
Right.
But they're getting it in the way of we're gonna rob our people. Like, no, that's not the way of how we're gonna get the so-called notes so you can feed your family. It's not I'm gonna rob my people.
Right.
If you're gonna do to get a meal, you better start planting some seeds. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go hunting, go do something. Stop trying to play your people so you can get the, materialistic things, the shiny materialistic stuff, because that's what they're doing it for. I was just watching that whole thing. That whole thing was bugging me out. But Islam, Grand Sheik.
Yeah, man. Yeah, brother Ibra, Islam.
Islam, more.
Yeah, we see you on there. You have any questions, more? We're not hearing you. You're live right now. No questions?
I got personal questions. I'm here more so just for the collective build. I really appreciate that. I appreciate what you've been doing. Islam, bro.
Good time.
Islam. I mean, I do have questions, but I think that they're more grade 2, grade 3 questions, because from how everybody is talking, at this point in time, I do recognize that there is a lot of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I really want to encourage people to go down that rabbit hole in reverse, because that's what's really needed, because our brain has already been warped by the Western world. We already have successfully completed a lot of the tracks that have been set for us as far as public education made way by. Uh, you know, my bad. There's a lag here, so it's kind of messing with me. But as far as like the education tract of Rockefeller and Gates, so a lot of people are talking from angles at which they think that they know, but everything has been completely processed and remanicured and scrupulously made sure that all of the key details that would serve as wake up factors are absent. So if they get any of those key nuggets with a little bit of curiosity, the places they could take it, amazing. But they never gonna reach that with ego and fullness of self falsely. So maybe they just need to humble themselves, even if their source is compromised. You need to be able to sift and discern on your own. And if you in a space, honestly, of not knowing, then maybe your ears should be moving more than your thumbs or your mouth. So, yeah, maybe my questions we can get up on a later date and time. But I appreciate what y'all doing, Islam, to everybody here, and I'll bow out at that time.
Islam, more. Appreciate
Islam.
you.
Islam.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions or whatever, you could push the button or you could email Canaanland Moors, and we'll definitely get with you. We're not like some of these other grand whoever's out here that don't return calls and stuff like that. And like the Moor was saying, and what Yusuf was saying, do something. Stop playing like Mr. Know-It-All. Stop playing ego games, right? You don't need to go there. And present what you're doing. You know, you're here talking. We've been here and talking.
Ben.
Oh, let me just get these Moors in here. Islam.
Islam.
Somebody got background. They got a
Islam, Mars.
Islam.
Yes, I'm cooling, Mars. I'm sitting in this chat, yo, and I'm seeing all these coons undercovers that's trying to slander the the studies for the day. You know what I mean? And they talking so recklessly in the chat, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm get tired of these damn coons. I know that for one instance that they put pictures up, not even of themselves. So they're cowards in that regard. They're not showing your face. Then you're sitting up here talking more science, and then on top of that, you double speaking, double talking on what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? Then you want to go back and forth and try to debate more with false narratives. Like you'll agree to certain things.
When you say double talk, elaborate on that, because people might be lost. When you say they're double talking.
Okay, when I say double talk, that means that they'll say something in reference to Moors that are good, and then at the same time they'll say something slanderous on the backhand side. Okay, or they'll present something that's true, and then they'll come with a false narrative. So that's when I say double talking. I'm saying that they are giving you truth mixed with fucking lies, more lies than truth.
Islam, more.
Islam.
Root, you got something to add or what?
Yeah, respectfully, salute to the panel.
Salute.
I'm just wondering, how can, when we talk about nationality, how can people from this land have nationality when nationality starts from birth? And the way that MST push it, y'all push it like we foreigners.
How's the MST push it like foreigners?
We can't nationalize. Us people from America cannot have nationality because nationality arises from birth or arises from naturalization. All the MST make you naturalize.
Okay,
we never went through no lands. We're birth certificate babies in America. We're not migrants that naturalized nowhere.
Okay, hold on, More. I can answer that for you. And Grand Sheik, can I answer that?
Well, yeah, go ahead, More.
All right, look, for instance, we had our prophet that came here and then gave us the correct and proper way to correct our status. Now, you had some dirty ass Moors that came in and they
coup the movement that the prophet. See, when the prophet was running around, they tried to kill the prophet with a damn knife. Okay, because they already understood what the prophet was doing was giving you your birthright, because we already understand that your birthright comes at birth, more. Okay, nobody cannot sell you your fucking birthright. Nobody can't trick you. You see what I'm saying? To sell you your birthright, because your birthright do come to you at birth. But if you don't understand that, and if you don't know that, and if you don't have the means to study to find that out, well, then guess what? What you don't know, you don't fucking have. Okay, and that's called half and half nots. All right, so we have a lot of dirty Moors that's in the MSTA. All right, that are operating in that manner. Okay, but you have Moors like me, Moors like Cujo, that you want to come up here and try to slander more, that we're not even on that. We are bringing them birthrights and nationality the proper way that the prophet had brought. Okay, now there's a lot of dirty Moors that's running around here that say that they're down with the prophet and that they love the prophet, but they are fucking clandestine ass Moors. You understand me? They want to get down with what they can get over on you. Okay, they want to make you into servitude, you know, like they are the man and this, that, and the third. When that's not the way that the prophet brought it to us. He brought it to us for as protectors of our matriarchal society that's coming in with the mother, because that's the ones that gave us our birth. Okay, that brought us into this. All right, and then we're supposed to be the protectors of that and all the states that's around. She controls the inside. We control the outside. Now,
and then hold on, and then second to that, you brought up naturalized, and there's only one specific Moor Science temple that deals with naturalization, and that's temple number 13, Baltimore, under Bratton Bay.
So yeah, and that's dirty.
Nationalize. If you have an issue with Moors who naturalize, those are the Moors who you should be talking to about that, not us, because we don't naturalize, because we know that's BS. We know we're foreigners here. We know, like the Moor was saying, we got it from birth. That's why Drew Ali said that we're Moroccan, because we're descended from
Moroccan. You didn't say we're Moroccan.
Yes, a Mexican Moor goes.
When y'all say
a Mexican goes back into the ancient. Listen, Moor.
Before the MSTA movement. See,
yeah, but
when you say
listen,
you got to join a group. See, when you say you got to join a group in 1925, the group started in 1925, but Noble Drew Ali started in 1913.
That's right. So if you going off in 1925, listen, Moor.
All I need is 30 seconds, brother. I ain't cut you off.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Moor.
MSTA. The whole MSTA is wrong, because you cannot join a group and say you belong to a nationality. That starts from blood.
That's wrong, though.
I cannot go to China. I cannot go to China and say I'm going to join the Chinese Science Temple and then claim that I'm a Chinese man.
We're not disagreeing with you on that, Moor. We're not disagreeing with you on that.
Nobody's not debating that. Of course you can't do that. That's not that doesn't make sense. Of course you can't do that. Why would somebody say a building made me a nation? That's the dumbest thing that somebody could say. We know that.
I'm not going to come up here and be disrespectful. Now, I might be wild in the chat, but I'm going to try to keep it scholarly, because that's what Moors do, sir.
No,
of course, Moor.
But again, you already know where we're at. So it's not like it's a debate thing like that, because you already know where we're at. We're not them Moors who you're talking about. You're trying to put those Moors, whatever they deal with, on us as if all Moor Science temples are the same. They ain't the same. We're not them. We're not the naturalized Moors. We're not the Moors who are playing sell a package games. We're not the Moors who are trying to make you think this is something religious and it has nothing to do with nationality. We're not any unfaithful Moors. We're Moors who ride with this is our birthright.
Yeah, we are those ancient faithful Moors that the prophet be talking about, Moor. We don't play games. First of all, you know what I mean, I understand exact what you're saying, because that'll make you frustrated and pissed off all the way around the board. You see what I'm saying? Because that what you
I apologize to you, bro. I can YouTube wild, bro. That you answered that question. I have no more. I cannot say nothing. I'll just be like, Taj Tariq Bey, who's a follower of Noble Drew Ali, Rosemary Bey, Dr. Abdullah Mosley Bey. You know what I'm saying? That's, so that's, you know what I'm saying, where we got our connection from. I'm just thinking, like, How can
I
he
get
take that
you.
science and go to the MSTA Moors? But now you said you ain't a part of that on the that could make you nationality. I apologize for even coming at you anyway. I came at you and I'm not gonna do it again. That's all I'm scholarly, bro. I know
No,
I
no
talk shit in the
worries.
chat, but I'm scholarly.
No
That's all I
worries.
needed to know. Thank you,
We,
Joe. Thank you.
and,
Islam,
Salute to you,
more.
bro.
and
Islam.
we're not saying we aren't Morris Science Temple of America. We are Morris Science Temple of America. We have a charter and all that. But we also know Great Seal. We also know Moore's Order of the Round Table. We also know Washita. We also know Duke of Tears. We also know ample amounts of other Moors. We also know RV Bay Publications. We know ample amounts of other Moors. Moorish Directory. We know Mad Moors.
Old
Who
Navy. We know bad
Well, I know
more.
that we
So
do a little YouTube spats, this little YouTube spat, but I honor you now a much more great deal because I was misinterpreting, thinking that you're talking about the MSTA. So whatever else you're talking about, I always said on my panel and on my show that you got master more science. I always said that. I just really disagree with. I'm thinking the MSTA more, and I'm backing off, bro. I'm telling you to your face on your panel, and
yeah,
you know I'm a little wild, bro. Especially
respect,
YouTube wild. I apologize more. I
respectable.
apologize more.
I get it. Apology accepted. I get it. Because it's like, just like Brother Menelek was saying, it's enough that's gonna get you upset if you're on the information. And everywhere you turn, there's a different faction of Moors trying to tell you this is how it's supposed to be done and all that. But all those people are running some type of game. The reality is this is your birthright. It's that simple.
right. And we Moors that's upright and pure and clean. We need to link up and fucking fleece these motherfucking bullshit ass, stinking ass, dirty ass, funky.
Your mic went out. Hey, I'm glad we had this bill, bro. I apologize for always coming in your chat with that bull snaps. I honor that, Cujo. I apologize.
It's
I'm
all
falling
good.
back. Just directly, hold on. So
It's
I
all
can't
good.
come back on. I don't care about if I
Islam,
disagree
you
with
can
the
hear
way
me
you
more?
do it and the
Yeah,
way I do it. I just apologize, Cujo. I seriously apologize, and I'm falling back.
all good, more Islam.
Islam.
And that's some of the stuff that we talked about years ago with Moors. They're looking at, oh, well, you can't say that. And why are you saying that? You can't talk like that. Why are you telling me that? Blah, blah. Then they have a conversation because majority of stuff doesn't even get to conversation because people in their ego and whatever. As soon as it gets to conversation, oh, now everybody realize everything's good. Ain't no worries.
Yep.
Just
It'd
like
be like
that, everything's good, no worries. Just like that, simple as that. Conversation. We have beef for 5 years or whatever like that. You don't like somebody just because you didn't have a conversation, right? Because that's what is the thing. You know what I mean? This debating stuff, it's still a thing. People always want to get their say or whatever. We know that we deal with truth. We know what Juali brought is truth. And we're riding with that because we're living examples of that. This is not some stuff you just pick up and take a sip. This is some stuff that you're trying to take everything home with you.
Islam.
Right? Brother Iana, are
Islam.
you there still?
Islam, yeah, I'm just listening. But
Islam,
yeah,
man.
I agree. Like, I'm just here learning and listening because, yeah, a lot of the times we're saying the same things too, but it's just in different ways. We're not realizing that
Right.
we just have to hear each other out, focus on the ears rather than trying to say something. But yeah, that's just
Yeah.
like in general. But yeah, with what's going on the climate right now, how do you feel about like with where more standing and really tying like focusing on what's really important?
I think with every more it depends on the jurisdiction you're in because so little work has been done by Moors who've had this information that we're gonna deal with it how we can based on where we are. You know what I mean? So there's there's jurisdictions, for example, here Moors near Chicago. I've seen New York, Jersey, certain places where we're not even looking at having to engage these people in some court, whatever, over some face covering.
Mhm.
So no different than a hat or a whatever. We Moorish our stuff and we have it either in the pocket, throw it on if you need it, or keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Because me personally, I'm not for just to pull my t-shirt up over my nose. I'm not going to no court to be writing writs and all that stuff for some $10,000 BS that these people are going to try to put on, or 800 or whatever. Me personally, I don't need the headache because I already don't see them people. I don't need to see them, and I'm not going to be out here arguing with some security guard about let me in and all this BS.
It's long.
When I could just pull my t-shirt up over my nose and go in the place, do what I have to do, and get the hell out. Because it's not that serious. Because I have a mask on doesn't mean I'm not a Moor or something. Like, what are you talking about? Because then now you go be defiant. They pull some stuff on you. Now you're gonna go try see. You can't go file paper because the court's closed because of COVID, and now you still have to take the L. Or like the Moor who wind your window down. No, we're not wind the window down. You gotta wind the window down. No, they bust the glass, pull them out the car and all that stuff. Goes to court, and the judge just, why don't you just wind the window down? Why are we going through all this because you don't want to wind your window down? Like, yeah, we recognize you have a right to travel and all that stuff, but why don't you just wind the window down? Right? So, in these times with people's mindset off of where it's supposed to be, like really off, people are really not thinking and stuff like that right now. One of the things more needs to do en masse right now is know where you're walking, know where you're going, pay attention to stuff. Don't be just out here in a daydream. Right?
Yeah, being vigilant.
People are not, like if you're walk toward the traffic so you can see what's happening in front of you.
Right.
The traffic on your back coming toward you. Because crazy stuff is happening right now. Stuff is just crazy, right? Like crazy, like to the point where, there's nothing going on as far as, some pandemic killing people and all that stuff. Because you just saw the thing saying 85% of the people who died from it are elderly. So the 15%, so the 15%, that's what all this lockdown the world is for. 15% of people. Because honors to the elderly, but they're elderly. It's not like you know what I mean. They're talking about people who are in nursing homes. They weren't doing anything for society really, anyways. Like they weren't doing anything. They weren't a contributing member. They paid their dues and they were chilling. 85%. Think about the millions of people that died, and then the age group of that, 85% of it are elderly people. Right? Like it's crazy. It's craziness that's going on right now. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that there's a pandemic, but people could go Black Friday shopping. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they were supposed to shut down the mall near me, but they were gonna do it after the Black Friday.
Of course,
thing.
because it's been a finance game. Because of finance. They charge you for something, it's because of finance. Stuff keeps going up. Your wage is not going up, but stuff keeps going up.
Mm-hmm. Pandemic.
Letting you know it's a finance game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How much you already know. All the pharmaceuticals get money, the more pills people take. How much, if they're getting pills for people taking aspirin or whatever, how much finance these people getting for if they get people to take vaccines?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about the money. Well, the Federal Reserve note. So,
right, that's just where it's at. So, with regard to the times, again, going back to Drew Ali, prophesying, store up your 3 months, 6 months, 9 months of food.
right.
He said that in the 20s. People say, no, I ain't gonna do that, diet off. Nah, we're not gonna do that, diet off. Nah, we're not gonna do that, diet off. And then here it is. Now we got to deal with it now because these people before us didn't think that we didn't need an ark. And now we're flooded and they're complaining. And everybody's mad at somebody and blaming that guy over there who didn't have nothing to do with anything. It's because you didn't build an ark. They're no different than the bird in the winter time. You didn't build a nest you didn't build a nest, you're just out here chilling? Like you're not gonna freeze to death or whatever? You get mad at nature. Nature ain't do nothing wrong.
Yeah, especially with the frequencies off, they don't even know when to leave now. They stick around longer.
It's sticking around longer. Or could it be again with what Drew Ali's saying? When Europeans go back home, temperature and stuff like that's gonna go back to what it used to be here.
Mm-hmm. Normal.
Maybe animals never used to leave, never had to fly south. How about that?
That's possible. Shit.
How about they never used to have to fly south?
Right. They just stay in their own spot. Everything be back to balance of nature again because everything is out of whack, out of balance right now. So that's why the certain things that's going on is happening the way it's happening is because we are out of nature. We are out of nature. So if we're out of nature, right, that means it's a ramifications for all that's gonna come because we're out of line.
Well, yeah. Pardon the interjection, but it's just crazy how Salem never pushed the link yet. He's talking crazy in the chat.
Oh, he's not gonna press the link. He's just there to antagonize Moors and talk smack. He's not gonna come on.
Crazy.
Right.
But, again, the greatness of the prophet on point. One day, the Europeans are going to lock the food up in warehouses, put soldiers around them to guard them, and you will go anywhere he says to get something to eat. Forget that. They're telling you stay home right now, and you're staying home.
Right.
That's prophecy manifested. They're gonna lock up the food in the warehouses. They've been did that.
And they're gonna tell you when you can get out and go to shop, and they are already doing that now. And they're gonna tell you you gotta wear a mask. You know what I mean? Which they are stripping away all your liberties right now. But these people are so out of focus. They're worrying about things that's
the wrong things.
Yeah, the wrong things. Like, and that's why a lot of things are being done to them on a wide scale because they're not being in tune with their liberties being stripped away. Now, I done spoke to a couple of Albions, and they was like, well, I was speaking to some of this information, and he was like, well, yeah, man, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's just that a lot of people is not gonna be in tune or in time to deal with the information because they are so in tune with the lies that's being spewed over the social media networks as far as the television, the television. and a lot of people they revolve their whole life around that. So if what they are saying on the news, this is what they're getting their information from, and if that's what, well, that's what the news say, you know. So that's why it's always a debate with a lot of these people, because they're not taking themselves out of the loop to go look up information for themselves. They are waiting on somebody to, put it in a nice little package and, give it to them up under the Christmas tree. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Islam.
Absolutely wrong. I mean, you just somebody's sheeple. You are just ready to be told what to do.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not trying to come up out of that way of life, because they thinking, well, I got to do this because this is just the way it is. No, it's not. It's not the way it is.
Exactly. Right.
So it's about our mindset and how we look at things and how we evolve from certain mind perspectives, because this is like you said, Grand Sheik, this is nothing but a mind Jedi tricks
Yeah.
that they do to our people on a daily basis, and we have to be a little bit more smarter, and a lot of it, and then they sit back and laugh at us. They do it on a large scale. They laugh at us, ha 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 ha. You see? So, and then the really point that I'm trying to make too is that our own people, just like that guy Salam, whatever his whatever, I don't know, Salam, yeah, he's on there in the chat, going hard and doing all this, that, and the third. But you're being more you're separating the movement by going in and trying to talk this, that, and the third, like exactly what you're talking about, or you do know what you're talking about, and you just coming in and try to cause confusion and chaos, doing the colonizer's job. See, I want to speak on that. Like, a lot of you guys that come on here and want to attack Moors for them putting out real truths and stuff because they study and stuff, and they're bringing and they're putting the information out there. Here you go. Oh no, that's not like that, and we're not Moroccans, and da 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 da. Nah, man, come on, come on. You coming in here, you're trying to break up what we got going on because the information that we are putting out here is true and correct, but you don't want us to wake up none of our people. So you'll come in with your little slander and this, that, and the third. Then you never show your face. You're gonna put some picture up. You're gonna put some picture up of Haile Selassie. You know what I mean? And you thinking you fooling some damn body. You're not fooling nobody. Okay, you damn trolls, you COINTEL agents. That's what the fuck y'all do. You probably get paid. So when Cujo comes on the scene, y'all probably get paid just to go come attack his page or attack his feed time he come on.
I wouldn't doubt it. The amount of times we got strikes and shit, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, what I mean? Like, this is your whole world is to worry about what Moors are doing. You see what I'm saying? Well, then you need to, well, yeah, that's their job more. So we might as well just get ready for the opposition. You see what I'm saying?
You know how it goes, right?
Yep.
That's why. Get ready for the opposition. Good timing. One day the European is gonna let you down. You're gonna have to put up a 90-day supply of food to last you until your brothers come to your rescue from the east. And in a lot of places where we're talking about, ain't no brothers from the east coming here. They're already here.
Right.
If the brothers from the east are already here, doesn't that mean that we messed up somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah.
He told us back then. I remember he said back then, before all these different foreigners were here. Remember, the only foreigners that were here one time were Europeans.
Yeah.
What else was coming over here like that? They had their own homeland. They didn't need to come over here.
Right.
Only when their homeland start falling to shit, now they want to come over here, land of whatever.
Right. The only people that really had a claim over here was the Chinese, because the Chinese was over here building the railroad, but the
Right.
European hurry up and exile their ass ASAP. Like,
Yeah.
get the hell away from here. So that's the only people I can recall. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And anybody else, you know what I mean, they don't really have no claims like that. For real, for real. So that's why, you know what I mean, I say that the United States always have an opposition with China. You know what I mean? Because China is more independent on natural resources. They don't have their own natural resources. That's why you always see in China over there in Africa, you know, trying to find natural resources to keep their cities and everything powered up. You see what I'm saying? Now, America, they has their own natural resources, and so as Iran and Iraq. You know, what I mean, they have oils and stuff like that. So that's why, it's always a power struggle in between with who's running what and who's doing what. But the majority of the situation is that we are the most powerful people in the world, is because we started everything. We are the most favorite nation, and that clause, our people got to understand that, all other nations was birthed here and moved to other spots that these Europeans, which we call Zionists, set up. You know what I mean? Just like you have so-called Iran or over there, you know what I mean? And that's not true. They made ISIS up right here in America. Okay. Just like they made that state Israel. That's Israel supposed to, Jerusalem and all that's supposed to be over here. Mecca and Morocco, all that's supposed to be here, not over there. But you have people that say they scholars and say that these lands are ancient and stuff like that, when really they're not. Because when you look at United States as a country before they became a corporation, um, they was started out only 237 years ago. Now, which is now I say they about 240 years old now, should be. So once you do the knowledge on United States itself, then you will understand, okay, well then if they only been a country for only 240 years, so how in the hell that they are running everything now? Why, you see what I'm saying? And then you have the state Israel, they just now became up and powerful, and they feeding money and pushing money into that jurisdictional area. So everything is a game with these people.
Mm-hmm. Everything's a game. And Roddy
Hmm.
told on everybody.
Of course,
He told
and
everybody. He snitched
yeah,
on everybody.
yeah,
Everybody
and they.
got snitched.
you most, you most definitely correct, Gracie. And that's why they mad at him too.
Yep.
So, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yep. Right. Well, again, the Holy Prophet said, one day, some of you old Moors are going to be so hungry that you are going to bite into your own flesh and
Hmm.
blood will skeet out. And you are going to get angry with yourself because you didn't put up enough food.
Right.
Now, what's interesting about that is that there's a metaphysical meaning of flesh.
Right.
Now, remember, let's read this again, right?
Mm-hmm.
One day, some of you old Moors are going to be so hungry that you are going to bite into your own flesh and blood
Right.
will skeet out. And you are
Right.
going to get angry with yourself because you didn't put up enough food. The
And that,
metaphysical meaning of flesh is mortal consciousness expressing
right.
through appetite.
Right. So what I think, and that is right there, Grand Sheik, is that these old Moors that's running with this United States citizen type bull crap. You see what I'm saying? And that you got to be naturalized in bull crap. You see what I'm saying? And giving Moors the wrong knowledge of self. You know what I mean? Just sticking with some of the divine knowledge. They're not giving you the whole divine knowledge. They're going to be the ones that's going to suffer.
Yep. That they're going to be biting themselves for the suffrage that they caused on themselves.
Yeah, they're going to plexico themselves.
Yep.
That's exactly what they're gonna do, Mo.
For real.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Brother Yusuf, you got anything, Brother Yusuf?
Brother Yusuf.
Yeah, my fault, Islam. I was on mute. No, I was just saying, Islam. If Grand Sheik continue reading the metaphysical meaning of flesh, I was trying to hear that.
Flesh, mortal consciousness, expressing itself through appetite. It is overcome by denying that appetite is physical and by affirming it to be spiritual. Flesh, carnal, or sensual, a malformation of the substance idea of being. It must be transformed by right conception of divine perfection before the mortal can put the immortal. Before the mortal can put on the immortal.
Islam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the flesh deceives the spirit too, as well. I think the metaphysical meaning, a lot of it has to do with because the flesh, the senses, is what causes people to like be in a reactory state, hence being influenced.
Right.
Well, can you? And another question, how? Because I know it makes reference to the blood too. So, like, what's the metaphysical definition of blood?
Right.
I'm trying to make it. You know how to make it all blend.
Yeah. Right. So, metaphysical meaning of blood expresses on a spiritual principle that has been introduced into the race mind through the purified Jesus. Is a spiritual principle in that it rests on pure ideas, yet it is manifested in mind and body. It is manifested in mind and body in concrete form when rightly appropriated, that it can be appropriated and used to the purification of the mind and the healing of the body. Thousands are proving in this day. Blood of Christ, the life contained in God's word. Therefore, it is spiritual energy that purifies and redeems man by pouring into his life currents and new and pure stream. This divine energy cleanses the consciousness of dead works to enable man to serve the living God. Through his experience on the cross, where his precious blood was spilled, through his suffering there, Jesus lowered his consciousness to the consciousness of the race, thereby administering to the whole race a blood transfusion, imparting to man the properties of being that will restore him to his divine estate. Such a transfusion not only revives us in temporal ills, but begins in the body a purifying and energizing process that will finally save us from death. Metaphysical meaning of blood.
And and all of that was going to be seeking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
seeking out.
you're going to be so angry with yourself. Yeah. The prophet be talking crazy.
You're gonna be so mad that you're gonna bite yourself, and eternal life is gonna leave you. Your spiritual potency, your spiritual life, your spiritual energy is gonna leave you. It's gonna skeet out of you.
Yep.
Right? Eating yourself. That's also what he's talking about. Because people are doing that right now, eating what
Oh
they're
yeah.
not knowing that they're eating their own children. Because you already know that they're putting stuff in the food to get you addicted to it. And people
Right.
like
That's not a food. Food doesn't do that.
yeah. Food doesn't do that. Right.
Islam, Mars.
Islam.
Yes.
So,
I'm cooling, boys. I'm sitting in this chat, yo, and I'm seeing all these coons, undercovers that's trying to slander the, studies for the day. You know what I mean? They talking so recklessly in the chat.
That's how they do, yo. But no matter what they do.
I know for one instance that they put pictures.
Islam was.
Islam.
Islam.
Yeah, a lot of them buried themselves already. Because you can't get around the prophethood. You can't get around it.
Yeah, because most of the Moors that been doing their thing, they still around. The Moors that's being dirty or whatever, they're gonna be the ones that fall off. They're gonna be, you ain't gonna see them no more, you know. And the Moors that was talking crazy, against the Joy Moors, they're not saying anything anymore. They're trying to, put their head up underneath the under the dirt now,
Yeah,
because they look at some of the stuff that they had came out their face with, and now that's for public record. See, when you come out of your face trying to slander upright, pure, and clean Moors, that's not gonna make you look good, no way.
right. Play yourself.
You playing yourself. It's likely, Grand Sheik. Exactly.
They're playing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is doomed, and Detroit must go down for what they have done to our prophet.
Yep. Chicago, and
going on right
yeah,
now. Isn't that going on right now?
Right now, Chicago and Detroit.
Right now.
Yep.
And then the question you got to ask yourself is, hold on a second, what did they do to the prophet? And then you realize Chicago's where a Grand Major Temple was.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit was where Allah's Temple of Islam was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there's no water there. And what do you say? Prophet said, one day grass is going to grow in Detroit.
You said what?
One day grass is going to grow up in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Right now, you go there, you see grass growing out windows.
Yeah, I drove through there a couple of times.
Yep.
It's pretty shaky.
Remember they were selling properties for one note.
Yep.
Yep. It's real bad in there because Matter of fact, Baltimore too, like they like Baltimore, I mean, they took a lot of the money from the city, and that's supposed to have been our own so-called leaders, these so-called black leader guys, taking all the Federal Reserve notes and, put it in their necessities to do whatever they feel they want to do with it. Just like that guy, um, you know, Patrick, what's his name? Kwame, um, Fitzpatrick. They got him on a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that he was doing, and he kind of got upset because he was like, wait a minute, these Albions, they doing the same thing. You see what I'm saying? But you can't do what the Albions do. Okay, you worried about them. See, that's what's wrong with our people. We are followers. We're following the European, and it says in the Bible, you follow the European, it's going to bring you to your own demise. Okay, we're following with this raping pedophile, this homosexual activities, all this. We want to be like the European, and some of the scientific studies that they had did on our people with the dolls have you not. When they was bringing the dolls out for the little children, and they was picking the Albion type doll instead of the Asiatic type doll. Well, that's psychological. Distrust for yourself, and no love for yourself, because you're not getting that with still in you by birth. Your mother's not teaching you to love yourself and to be more upright and proudful of your own race. So that's why our children are coming out trying to be somebody else, or want to emulate somebody else, or be somebody else instead of being who they are. And we have a lot of socialists that set up the society so it's working the way they want it to work.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to act like that. Oh, our system is broken and da 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 da. Nah, dummies. They set the system up for it to work the way it is. It's working perfectly. Okay.
Right.
So when people see what it is that our people are deaf in thought. Their depth in thought is not far, it's shallow, like a little puddle. You can just step in and a little splash come up out. You see what I'm saying? They're not deeper the abyss in thought, because it's already society social construct has already been set up for us to go into the thinking in an area of thinking the way we are thinking. We are thinking just like the colonizer is.
Yeah, they don't value individual thought, and it's based off of the Prussian system of to get people on the same page of seeing this reality when it's so many different angles to the 360.
Exactly. Absolutely, more. And that's why we have to, red pill a lot of people out of this matrix. You see what I'm saying? Because if they don't get it to a point that they don't understand, they want somebody to do it for them. They are to a point they want the service of the hotel. They just want to charge it to the room. You see what I'm saying? When that's not the way it's gonna work, and that's not the way it's gonna help you. You have to be self-sufficient in knowing your own self, and knowing what all attributes that is gonna help you out in the long run. See, what I know is not gonna help you. Okay, you see, it works like this. What you know helps you. So that means that I have to build my knowledge up to a point that I know now, instead of me depending on another more to help me out of a bind. You see what I'm saying? And not just that, we need to worry about helping those more that want to be helped. Now, the ones, I have friends right now. I want to go help because I feel like, I have some type of loyalty to them. You see what I'm saying? But they don't want this. You see what I'm saying? So I can't force it on them. I can't make them do anything that they don't want to do. So guess what? Those is for the prophet said it's for the yet unborn and young. So that's who I'm what I mean, I'm trying to shoot at now. I'm not worried about those who think they got everything together. You know what I mean? They got all their little ducks in a row. I'm not worried about them, because the prophet said, get with those Moors that's doing good and leave those dirty Moors alone. Okay. So once you get hip, you see what I'm saying? You hop to the right information with the right people, you know what I mean, and do, you know what I mean, what you're supposed to do as far as uplifting fallen humanity. That's all I have to say on that, and I yield the floor, Morris.
There's a lot more. I just wanna my head's tingling because I know he wants this one right now, so I just have to do something.
It's long.
I just have to set up something right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Attention. Please pay attention. Please pay attention.
Bashar, and he also knows that North America is known as Al Maghreb Al Aqsa.
Of course, I know that. North America was known as Al Maghreb Al Aqsa, and it reported to the Sultan of Morocco. And there was a relation. This is why I needed to ask you, what's the relation between the first, colonials and the governors of Morocco, because they communicated, because on paper it was part of Greater Morocco. That's known.
That's known.
But I need
and Bashar's from Jordan.
Yeah.
It's Bashar, and he also knows that North America is known as Al Maghreb Al Aqsa.
Of course, I know that.
So how come it's so easy for this individual on the other side of the earth or whatever to know that over here is also Morocco? Of course.
Of course, because that's the trick. You know what I mean? If they keep,
of course. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? What type of question is that?
Right.
What do you mean? Is America part of Morocco? Like, of course it is. What are you talking about? Why is it? Of course it is. Why? Because that's what it is. That's just what it is. Don't get mad at Moors and want to debate Moors and want Moors to prove this and that. There's nothing. That's just what it is. That is known. That is
known. Yeah, more, and I want to add to that too. I want them to know that over here in the continents of America that we was already set up by the Rockefellers. They was the one who was providing the educational material. They are the ones who really indoctrinated the country with the education that they are receiving right now to this day. So y'all can thank the Rockefellers for their indoctrination.
Right? Because you don't want to learn.
Yeah. They don't want to learn.
You want to learn? Okay, fine. Don't learn then. Don't get mad. And don't debate Moors.
Bashar, and he also knows that North America is known as Al Maghreb Al Aqsa.
Of course, I know that. North America was known as Al Maghreb Al Aqsa, and it reported to the Sultan of Morocco. And there was a relation. This is why I needed to ask you, what's the relation between the first, colonials and the governors of Morocco, because they communicated, because on paper it was part of Greater Morocco. That's known.
That's known.
But I need
Bashar's from Jordan.
Yes.
Palestinian.
Yes. Palestinian, Jordanian, Arab, Canadian.
Fantastic.
That's how much BS he knew all that BS was. You Morocco. Stop it. Let's stop to all the Moors. Moors, do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, more. I want to say this before I get off the chat. Um, I want to say that every build that we build here, we do it for our people and for you Moors that's coming.
Oh, they're breaking it up. You already know. As soon as more start saying something they're supposed to be saying, here they go.
Mess with the frequencies.
Here they go. Oh, you want that one too? Okay.
Islam Grand Sheik.
Islam, more there.
Yo, give thanks to all the Moors in the chat. Honors to the Prophet. Noble Drew Ali is the man. Give thanks to the Canaanland Moors on their platform. Give thanks, Grand Sheik. Islam to the Moors on the panel, too. Islam Moors. Give thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say basically, we just have to really just weigh out what's really important and place value on the things that matter the most. And a lot of the time, the whole material thing is what causes confusion, where it's like you're trying to balance out the different aspects of life. But the more and more you listen to that inner voice, the more you get, directed. And it's the concept of divine before national. It really like put a lot of things in perspective with me. Like always be mindful of making sure my spirit is in alignment with what I'm seeking. You feel me? So like I think that's like a major thing to on this for our people to really come together and just keep putting blocks, and then we're gonna build that step.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam was honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I'm just gonna let my last words be somebody else's. Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quickies. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try? If Canada gives you Canadians, and Mexico gives you Mexicans, and Brazil gives you Brazilians, then the United States should give you United Statesians, not Americans. America is a continent, not a country, and that is why it is called United States of America, meaning United States belonging to America, or United States from America. America is a continent separated in name only. North America, Central America, and the adjoining islands, and South America. So the next time you're in the presence of someone talking about those Americans this and those Americans that, or I'm going to America, or American politics, each time they mention Americans or America, interrupt them and ask them, wait a minute, which Americans? From which country? Or disagree with whatever they are saying and start talking about a random country in the Americas, like say Paraguay. And if the person speaking says they are speaking about people from the United States, just say, oh, you mean United Statesians, not Americans. Common sense was made before book sense.